Hey guys, welcome back to the next episode in my Fruits Basket reading vlog series. If you hear any background noise, it is my air conditioning. It is like suddenly got so hot here in the last few days. We had such gloomy weather, and then all of a sudden it's like summer has come early. It's just, that's California for you. The weather is always just bipolar. So I apologize for the background noise, but hopefully my background noise editor will cancel it out. We'll have to see. So I am going to move on to volume 7 of Fruits Basket today. I just finished volume 6 like over an hour ago, so I got that one done so I can move on. At the same time though, this week I am participating in the Buzzword Readathon, so I also have to focus on reading other books for that readathon, and I'm also vlogging for that readathon too, so I'm doing 2 vlogs at the same time, which is really, really weird, and hopefully that works out. Hopefully I don't mix up vlog clips together. I'm sure it'll work out. So yeah, I also need to focus on reading other books this week, but I think I'll still be able to read 1 manga per day. I'm pretty sure it'll happen, and I'll make sure to keep on reading a volume per day of this manga series. So I'm actually going to start reading an actual book first for the readathon, and then later tonight I'll probably start volume 7. And also later tonight I am going to do a discussion on volume 5, so I'm looking forward to that. So I'm going to go right now. I'm going to read some of the book that I'm reading for the readathon, and then I'll be back later tonight when I am doing my discussion for volume 5, so I will see you then. And if you are not caught up on this vlog series, if you have not seen the first episode or the second one or the third one, I will leave the links to those videos in the description, and I'll also leave a link to the first episode in the cards. So if you want to check those out first so that you can watch them in order, make sure to do that. Okay, so I am ready to discuss my thoughts and feelings on volume 6 of the manga series. This one, really, really emotional. We're getting to the part of the series where things start to get very, very dark and emotional and really intense, and I definitely cried like a baby throughout this one. So I'm really excited to talk about it, so let's just get right into it. So first we start off on a rainy day, and what I found kind of intriguing and interesting is the fact that Kyo gets very weak on rainy days, and it's revealed that the cat each generation does not do well on rainy days. And I think for the most part, cats don't like the rain, they don't like being out in the rain, so it kind of makes sense. But while he is fighting with Yuki, he like gives out and gets very weak and can't go on. Poor Kyo, he has to feel that way during the rain, but it was kind of cute in a like really weird kind of way. So Kagure shows up and of course instantly attacks Kyo with her love, and she is just so damaging. She just destroys Shigure's house while she's loving all over him, and so Shigure suggests for Kagure to take him out on a date to get the groceries for dinner, and so she does, and he says the only reason he did it is so that he could get her out of his house so she wouldn't destroy his house anymore, because poor Shigure's house gets destroyed whenever Kagura is around because she's so excited to see Kyo. So I found it funny that he was trying to get Kagura out of his house by taking Kyo on a date, and Kyo was like very not having it, but he was kind of forced into it. So in this volume, Kyo's master and foster father shows up, which I was so happy for because I love Kazuma so much. I love his relationship with Kyo, and when he first shows up, Kyo is like not showing his excitement at all, because he doesn't like to show his feelings in front of other people, and he's always been that way, especially in front of Yuki. So when Kazuma shows up, he is kind of standoffish and is just like in the corner, like brooding, and is just not showing his excitement. But he goes to his room, and Kazuma meets him there, and that's when he smiles and says how happy he is to see him, and like finally shows his emotions, which was so cute. I think it's sad that Kyo feels the need to like close himself off and not open up in front of people, but at the same time I think it's so cute that he can open up in front of his foster father. So while Kyo and his master are having a discussion, Kyo asks, since Kazuma is back, if he can come back to the dojo and live there with him. And even though Kazuma promised that when he returned that he would take him back, he says no. And that leaves Kyo very upset because he does not like it at Shigure's house. He claims not to like it, like he feels like he's miserable there. But Kazuma wants him to stay because he can see that this environment is really good for him, and he thinks that being around Toru in particular is really good for him because he's been seeing how he interacts with Toru and how Toru tends to really soften him up. And he can see that very intimate and growing relationship developing between them, so he wants him to stay there because he thinks it's good for him. But Kyo doesn't really understand that. And in a way, Kazuma is right, because since Toru has come into his life, it's changed him so much already. He's a lot more relaxed, and I think that's what his father is seeing. So he wants him to remain there for a little while more. And so this is where things go down. So Kazuma wants to take off his bracelet, and we find out that the bracelet that Kyo wears, he wears it because it keeps him from changing into his true form. When I first watched the anime, I did always wonder, why does he wear that bracelet? Is it just because it's like a fashion thing? But we find out there is an actual reason why he wears a bracelet. Because it keeps his true form from coming out. And his real form is this very hideous beast that smells and is super scary. And Kazuma forces him to transform into this beast because he wants Toru to see him for who she really is, because he feels that Toru has the capability of accepting him, and he wants Kyo to be able to see that. Even though there's a chance that she won't, there's a chance that Kyo could push her away and things go so wrong, but he takes the chance anyway. And the conversation that he has with Kyo leading up to that is so intense. He's telling Kyo that you say you don't like it here, that you feel like you're miserable here, but the real reason you don't want to be here is because you don't want to face what you know you need to face. Kyo is someone who would rather just run away from everything, just run away to avoid the inevitable, avoid the things that he knows he has to face, because he knows he has to face the fact that Toru is going to have to find out about his true form someday, but he'd rather just run away from it and just avoid it happening altogether. But Kazuma decides for him that it has to happen now. And so he takes his bracelet off and Kyo transforms, and Toru is right there to see it. And so Kyo runs away and Toru goes after him. What I like about this though is that Toru isn't like dismissive of the fact that he's a beast. When she sees him in his true form, she is very, very, very frightened, and she like throws up because of the smell. She recognizes the fact that he is scary, but at the same time she still goes after him, even though Kyo is pushing her away, telling her to go away. He tells her that he doesn't want her there, just to hurt her so that she will be afraid to come near him. But she fights him on it, and she tells him that, you know, I am afraid of you. Like right now I am afraid, but she still knows that Kyo is in there, and she tells him that she wants to stay with him. She wants them to stay together. And so Kyo changes back to his human form. And this is where things get so emotional, and I just love this part. He tells her that his mom had told him constantly that she accepted him and she loved him, but he never felt like she did, because she would say that she loved him, but she would look so frightened of him, and she would be very scared of him and wouldn't admit it. So it just really made Kyo upset when he was a child. But when Toru tells him that she is afraid of him, she's being honest, but she still accepts him, he tells her that that's the words that he's been wanting to hear for so long, and then he hugs her. changes into his cat form and just cries with her. And I love this part so much. I loved this scene in the anime. It's probably my favorite scene of the anime, actually. And while I was reading that part, I mean, I just teared up. And I mean close to sobbing teared up. I just didn't just tear up. Actual tears fell down my face because I was so emotional. Well, this is awkward because I look completely different. I decided to end the video early because I realized how late it was and I still had to take a shower and get ready for bed. I had to get up early this morning, so I was like, I should probably stop this right here and I'll get back to it the next day. So that's why I look different. But anyway, let's just get back into the discussion for volume 6. So the part where I left off at, thankfully I remembered, is I wanted to talk more about Kyo's mom, because that whole story is just so sad. So his mom killed herself, and it is hinted that, or actually it's stated that she did it because of the fact that her son was the cat. Even though she kept telling Kyo so many times that she still loved him, what happened is that she felt so ashamed because everyone in the family hates the cat. So that like really got to her, and then she killed herself because of that, which is just so terrible. Imagine being like a 5 or 6 year old kid and hearing that your mother died because of you. Even though you didn't do anything, but she like killed herself because of you. Like, that is traumatic. Not only that, everyone was blaming Kyo for his mom's death, and they were even saying that he didn't even look remorseful at all. He wasn't even crying, but he kept saying like, it's not my fault, which it wasn't. And then that's the part where we get into the backstory of Kazuma and Kyo's relationship, which is just beautiful. So Kazuma decided to adopt Kyo, and his reasoning for it is because his grandfather was the cat in a previous generation, and he shunned his grandfather because everyone else was, and he was brought up to believe that the cat is a horrible person and is like disgusting. But after his grandfather died and years later, he felt so much regret over that. So to make amends, he takes Kyo in and decides to raise him, and he also becomes his master because he is a martial arts master. And at first he took Kyo in out of guilt for how he treated his father, so he was like trying to do something right by it. But then he ends up actually falling in love with Kyo and like thinks of him as his real son, and it's just so sweet. And I love how Kyo develops a strong relationship with Kazuma to the point where it's like Kazuma is actually his real father. Like, his real father is a complete ass, and we get into his real father later in the series, which like that's like a whole nother story. His real father is the poorest excuse for a father I've ever read about. He's just so terrible, so cruel. But anyway, their relationship hasn't been always the best. There is a time when Kyo gets to be a teenager and he says to Kazuma like, you're not my real father. And he does it because he doesn't want to be a burden to Kazuma, so he like tries to push him away because he knows he still is the cat. And he also knows that that reflects on Kazuma because everyone is judging Kazuma because of that, because he is raising the cat. So he was constantly trying to push him away, but nowadays in the present, they still have such a great relationship that I just love so much. I'm glad Kyo has someone to look up to. He has a guardian that actually cares about him so much. Like, Kazuma doesn't even care about the curse. He doesn't care that Kyo is the cat. He loves him as his own son, and it's just so beautiful. And so that ends the part with Kyo becoming like a beast and his relationship with Kazuma, all of that. Now the end of this volume gets really lighter. Like, it was super dark in the beginning, and then there's a chapter that's super like carefree and just funny and light. So that is the part where Yuki decides to visit Ayami's shop. He does it because he wants to like understand Ayami more, so he's making like a step into improving their relationship, which is awesome. Ayami's reaction to Yuki asking if he can go visit his shop is so funny. He like gets so excited and is like telling Shigure that Yuki is coming to see his shop and that he came to him with tears in his eyes begging to come see his shop, which he didn't. He's just over exaggerating. And then he calls Hattori to tell him. Like, I love how whenever Yuki like does something nice for Ayami or like takes an interest in him, Ayami immediately goes to tell Shigure and Hattori and just gets so excited for it. It's so cute and so funny, and then Yuki's like, stop telling them, like, you're over exaggerating, but he's like, I can't help it. It's just awesome. So awesome. So they get to his shop, and Yuki wasn't aware that Ayami ran a cosplay shop for men. So when he finds out, he is just like, what the hell is going on here? Like, he did not expect that. And I love the part when Ayami's assistant, Mine, asked Toru if she could dress her in a dress. And Yuki's like, what are you gonna put on her? Like, I think he didn't know if it was going to be something inappropriate, but it wasn't. It was like this cute dress. She looked so adorable. And then meanwhile, while Toru is getting dressed, Ayami and Yuki have a conversation where they're kind of trying to work things out. Ayami is still being over the top, but then he apologizes and says that he really is happy that he came and that he is trying to make an effort to understand him, which was awesome. Like, they came to kind of a truce. There's still this drift between them, and it's at this point where they recognize that they are completely different people. They really are polar opposites, so they're never really gonna understand each other as much as they want to, but at least they're like actually talking. And I think that's really a good example for like siblings or parents with children. Even if you don't see eye to eye, like, you can still get along if you put the effort to, and if you put the effort in to understand each other. So they're just a really good example of that. And I love when Toru comes out and Yuki sees her in the dress and he gets so sweet to her, telling her she's pretty because she is pretty. She looked so amazing in that dress. So I think that's all I have to say. That's where the volume ends. As for an update, since it is a day later, I have not picked up volume 7. I think if I have time, I'll either pick it up tonight or tomorrow. Most likely it'll be tomorrow because I'm still participating in the Buzzword readathon and I need to catch up on that. And I don't think I'm going to do a discussion for volume 7 until like Friday or Saturday, just because I want to focus on reading for the readathon. So I'll probably put that off for a little while, and I'll probably put off reading Fruits Basket maybe until this readathon is over. We'll just see how that goes. So with that said, I am going to go for now, and I'll see you guys in the next clip.
One eternity later.
Hey, so it has been a while. I want to say, I think the last volume I read was like a little over a week ago. It's been so long since I picked up a volume from this series, and therefore I have not posted any vlogs lately. I haven't posted episode 4. Well, this is episode 4. I haven't posted it yet because I'm not finished with it, because I took a break from reading this series, so I have no idea what day it is. I'll figure it out when I'm editing this, but I have no idea because it's been so long. But I am ready to get back into reading another volume. I right now am in a reading slump. Really bad. I don't want to read anything. However, I can read manga easily. It's the thing that I'm not feeling like reading is actual novels. Like, I don't want to read any novels right now. I just don't, because I'm having like a reader's burnout. But with manga, that's something that I can read easily because it's a different format. And I think right now I just need to read something that isn't a novel. And I think that'll help me get back into reading. And since I love Fruits Basket so much, like, I can read it anytime. Doesn't matter if I'm in a slump, I can always read it. So yeah, that's why I'm going to take this opportunity during my novel reading slump to focus on reading more of Fruits Basket. So I'm going to get back into doing it today. I don't know when I'm going to pick up the next volume, but sometime today for sure. And the next volume I have, it's been sitting on my nightstand just waiting for me to pick it up. But now I can, and that is volume 7. So I'll get to this one sometime today. Probably this evening, I don't know. I originally wasn't going to film any videos today, but I kind of feel like it right now. I'm kind of like in the mood to film. I didn't plan to because I haven't been feeling well, but I've been doing actually pretty okay today. Like, I don't feel really tired. I don't feel like my stomach hurts as bad as I thought it would. So I'm like, why not film some videos today? Because I kind of want to. So that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to start doing my makeup really soon. And then later today I'll film. And then probably this evening I'll start reading, getting back into Fruits Basket, so I'm excited for that. And so I'm gonna go right now. I just wanted to do a quick little update, and I'm excited to keep on reading this series finally after not picking it up for over a week. So yeah, that's awesome. So I'll be back really soon. I did not pick up the next volume the other day when I said I would. I can't even remember why. Was I just not feeling like reading? Probably. Even though it was a manga and I was like, said like manga is something that I'm in the mood for right now, I still didn't pick it up. But I did pick it up last night and I read a few chapters of volume 7. So I didn't finish it last night, but I at least started it, and I'm going to get back into it right now. And I should be able to finish it in one sitting, hopefully. This one is going good. Hiro is introduced in this one, and though he is such a brat, I still like his character. Like, once you get to know why he's such a brat all the time, then it kind of makes sense. So I can kind of forgive him for that. And I love how much he loves Kisa. It's so sweet. So I'll talk about him more in my discussion part of this video for this volume. So I'm going to go back into reading this right now, and the next time you see me, I'll probably be doing the discussion for this volume. And I think I'm going to film that tomorrow because tonight I'm focusing on writing since it is Camp NaNoWriMo and I need to focus a lot of my attention on writing. And today I really want to focus on getting some writing done because I'm way behind on my word count goal for Camp NaNoWriMo, so I will film my discussion for this volume tomorrow, and I should be able to do that. So I'm going to go right now and finish off this volume, and I'll be back in the next clip for my discussion on volume 7. So I am ready to discuss volume 7 because I finished it last night. So let's just get right into it. Like I mentioned in the last clip, Hiro is introduced in this one, and when he meets Toro, he is so mean to her. He is like so mean to Toro, it kind of makes me mad, but overall he's just such a bratty kid. He criticizes everyone, he's a smart aleck, and he's sarcastic at the same time, but fortunately, like with pretty much all the characters in this series, he has reasons for why he is the way he is that are kind of valid and make him more understandable. And one of the reasons has to do with his relationship with Kisa, which is both so cute and so heartbreaking at the same time. So him and Kisa have always been best friends, and Hiro is low-key in love with her, which I think is just so cute, but he has a weird way of showing it. But it got to the point where he was so in love with her that he told Akito that he loved her, and that was the wrong thing to do because Akito ended up hitting Kisa and like severely injuring her. And the saddest part about this whole situation is that Hiro felt the need to distance himself from Kisa since he felt so guilty, because if he hadn't told Akito that he loved her, then she wouldn't have gotten hit by him. But that's what happened. So he distanced himself from her because he felt like he was trouble to her. But that just made things worse because when Hiro stopped talking to her was around the time when she started getting bullied at school. So poor Kisa, her best friend just suddenly stops talking to her. She's getting bullied at school. Like, this poor girl, so much bad stuff happened to her all at once, and Hiro feels so bad for neglecting her. And finally, they have this moment where they confront each other, and Hiro confesses why he stopped talking to her all of a sudden, and he also tells her that the whole time they were apart, he was so worried about her, about how she was doing at school. So that was really heartwarming. Like, at least he finally talked to her, and Kisa was so happy. They're just so cute together, and I'm gonna put this down so that I'm not holding it the whole time. I just adore their relationship. Especially, I love how Hiro just wants Kisa to be happy all the time. Like, he doesn't like Toru because he's jealous of Toru because Kisa has gotten so close to Toru when Hiro wants to be the closest person to her, so he's like really jealous. So he does not like Toru, which is a shame because Toru is awesome, but he kind of sees that after a while, which is a good thing. But he knows how much Kisa loves hanging out with Toru, so even if he doesn't want to hang out with her, he will just to be with Kisa because she wants to be with her all the time. So I like how he just wants to make her happy. One of the cutest things is when Toru takes them to a park and Hiro, being his bratty self, is like, "Why would you take us to somewhere so boring?" But Kisa's like, "Oh, I like the park." And then he's like, tells Toru, "You're forgiven," because he just wants Kisa to be happy. It's just so adorable. So I love the relationship, and I do love seeing it grow throughout the series. It's not, compared to the other relationships in the series, it's not the most developed one. Like, they don't get a lot of time together, but I like seeing them in the background and seeing them really fall in love with each other. It's just that sort of innocent, cute kid relationship. Like, not really kids because they're middle school, but like, think middle school relationships and how cute they can be. That is Hiro and Kisa. They're just so precious. Moving on from that, there was a little backstory to Uo that happened in this volume. Before getting to that, though, I just want to mention the part where they go swimsuit shopping for Toru. So Toru has only been wearing her middle school swimsuit uniform, which she's not required to wear at school, but she just wears it anyway because she doesn't think finding a regular swimsuit is that important. So she's just been wearing this school uniform swimsuit, but Uo and Hana are like, "No, you cannot wear that anymore," because it's just really plain and kind of ugly, I guess, to them. And so they tell Yuki and Kyo that they're going to get her a new swimsuit, and they also tell Shigure, and Shigure is like, "Why does she need a new swimsuit?" And they tell him that she has been using the school uniform swimsuit, and then Shigure is like, "Please go get a new swimsuit." It was so creepy. He's like, "You poor Toru having to wear the school swimsuit all the time." And Yuki and Kyo, as usual, are like just shaking their heads like, "No." And then they also drag Yuki and Kyo with them to find a swimsuit for Toru, and they're like trying to get their opinions, and Yuki and Kyo are so uncomfortable because literally, what guy wants to go swimsuit shopping for a girl? It was really funny. Anyway, going into like Uo's backstory, which I found really fascinating. Compared to Hana, I like Hana a little more than Uo. I like her story and everything a lot better, but I still love Uo, and I had actually forgotten a lot of her backstory, so it's kind of nice getting like a refresher on it. So Uo used to be a member of a gang just like Toru's mother, and she was very scary because of that in her middle school days when she first met Toru. She was obsessed with Toru's mother because in the gang community, Toru's mom used to be one of the like celebrity gang members, one of the top gang members of all time. And so Uo just idolized her, but then when she finally meets Toru and Toru introduces her to her mom, she is so disappointed because Toru's mom is more of a doting mother now instead of a gang member. She is not a part of a gang anymore, and she hasn't been for years, which leaves Uo very disappointed because she's found out that the gang member that she's idolized for years is nothing like she thought she was. She thought she was tough and like brutal, but Toru's mom isn't. And Uo tells this to her mother and is like, I'm so disappointed in you. Why are you like this? Why are you completely different? And then Kyoko said it was time to move on, which that one line was just so powerful because Toru's mom really recognized how crappy her life was and that the life she was leading was something very, very bad. She did not want to be part of the gang life anymore. And so she realized like it was time for her to move on from that and to become a better person. And I think it's also interesting because being a mother and being a wife really changed Kyoko, Toru's mother, into something a lot better. And I think it is kind of realistic that sometimes having a child really can change a mother's life tremendously because all your focus now is taking care of your child and is not on yourself anymore. So especially I think the moment that Kyoko became a parent, that was something that she focused on more than being in a gang. So I think that's what she was getting at while telling Uo that this is why I don't have that life anymore and I don't want that life ever again. And it was so cool seeing Uo start to realize that Kyoko was right, that this life is not something she should lead anymore because it's horrible and she knows her future is going to be so dark because of it. And so Uo decides to leave the gang, and when you leave the gang, you get beat up, which is just awful. So her gang beat her up and Kyoko came to her rescue and saved her, which was so sweet and I love that moment. And then she takes her back to her house where Toru's there waiting for them. Love that. I just like Uo's story. Like, it's sad but also so inspiring and really shows how dark and scary being in a gang can be and how it's so hard to get out of them because leaving a gang can mean like death because the gang really just almost killed her. Like, they beat her so bad. So that was sad but also heartwarming, and I loved seeing Uo and Toru and how their relationship started. What I also found pretty intriguing was the fact that Uo was worried that she was ruining Toru's image because Uo was the bad girl and Toru was the sweet girl, so people at school started to think that Toru had a bad side that they didn't know about because she was hanging out with Uo all the time, and so at times that did discourage Uo from being friends with her because she really did not want to ruin Toru's reputation by being friends with her. So there was also some kind of complications with that, and I like seeing that too, because of course that would happen, unfortunately. The reflection of yourself does depend on the people you hang out with sometimes, and sadly that was the case with Uo and Toru, but they were able to overcome that. Now, the one last thing I want to talk about in this volume is the last chapter, which I'm not going to talk much about because honestly, I hate this character that I'm going to have to talk about next. The last chapter goes over the Yuki fan club, which these girls are just the worst characters in this series. I really don't see the point in them, hardly at all. They're so annoying, and specifically the president of this club, which I think her name is Motoko. I don't even remember. Is it Mokoto or Motoko? Maybe I can quickly see if her name is at the end of the book. Yuki calls her Minagawa senpai, so I'm just gonna call her Minagawa. I think that's her last name. She is so irritating. Like, she's a major brat. But in comparison to Hiro, Hiro is a brat, but you know the reasons why he is. With Minagawa, you don't really get that same scenario. Like, she's mean and annoying and full of herself, but she doesn't really have a basis to why she is that way at all. I can't remember if in the later volumes we get more insight into her backstory and find out if she is the way she is. I can't remember that, but she's just so annoying and I despise her so much. And she over idolizes Yuki, which I've mentioned before. Yuki is not my favorite character in this book. I think he's just plain and boring and bland, and I hate how the Yuki fan club just worships him, and she legit worships him so much, and it's just annoying. So the fact that she's always going on and on and on about why she loves him so much is just oh my god, girl, shut up. And she whines and just there's so many reasons why I just don't like this character, and she is my least favorite character in this entire series. I hate her chapters. I'm just like, bitch, go away. I gave this volume 4 out of 5 stars because of that, and I had thought I had given all these volumes 5 out of 5 stars, but for some reason I was always thinking before rereading this series, did I give some of these volumes 4 stars? Because I had actually remembered I had given a few 4 stars, and I believe this is one of them, all because of Minagawa. She is just, ugh. I just, like, wish she wasn't in this series at all. I don't see the point in her character other than to be someone annoying. Like, she just needs to, like, go away. So, yeah, unfortunately, I could not give this one 5 out of 5 stars because of that. Ugh. Hopefully she won't be in another volume for a long time because I am just sick of her so much. So anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to say on this volume. It was a good one. Not the best, my least favorite so far, but what I did love was seeing Hiro because though he is pretty irritating, he's a really compelling character, so I like that. And I loved seeing Uo's backstory, and I cannot wait to read Hana's backstory because hers is even more interesting and even sadder. Like, hers is really sad, so that's gonna be kind of hard to read, but like, I'm excited for it. Right now, I am doing my reaction video to the first episode of the Fruits Basket reboot right after I finish filming this, so I'm like, want to go right now because I am dying to see the first episode. I'm so excited. So my reaction video to the first episode should be up by now, so I will leave that linked in the description box if you want to check that out. Hopefully it'll be a good reaction, but it probably will. I'll probably be freaking out the whole time because I've been anticipating this episode, this anime, for so long since it was announced, so I'm excited for it. So because of that, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna end this vlog here. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be back with another one really soon. I do plan to keep on continuing with my reread of the series within the next month. So thank you for watching. And if you liked it, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below for more bookish related videos. And I'll be back really soon. Bye!